They called him the Silent Deathworlder, like it was an insult meant to wound. In Lecture Hall K91, silence was normal. Fear was not. The amphitheater spanned 3 tiers, a polished monument to galactic unity, seating over 800 delegates from 12 different species. Bioluminescent banners flickered along the walls, boasting peace through understanding in 14 languages. Translation drones hummed softly, failing entirely to convey the tension in the air. The humans sat in the 3rd row from the back. Alone. As always. Elias Ward. Earthborn. Cadet scholar. No ceremonial implants. No weaponry. Just a slate, a stylus, and eyes that seemed to pierce straight through anyone foolish enough to challenge him. To the galaxy, humans were curiosities, Class V Deathworld survivors, capable of enduring hurricanes, disease, predators, tectonic violence, and most notably each other. Weak in numbers, politically insignificant, but with an instinct that made the galaxy uneasy, humans adapted. Humans survived. Humans killed back. So, of course, they tested him. The first came from the Varix twins, insected mercantile heirs with mandibles that clicked in smug amusement. One brushed Elias's shoulder with a barbed limb, and the translation drones amplified the hiss. "Careful," said the other. "Deathworlders bite when startled." Laughter rippled. Elias didn't flinch. Didn't move. Just wrote something on his slate. That made them bolder. Over the next cycle, the harassment escalated. His data pad went missing, and returned shattered. Gravity was shifted under his feet long enough to slam him into a desk. A Threxian athlete cracked one of his ribs in the corridor. Still, Elias said nothing. The instructors noticed. They always did. Professor Rahl, 6-limbed reptilian veteran of 3 border wars, observed it all with distant patience. Let the young sort themselves out, he thought. Conflict builds resilience. After all, Elias was human. From a death world. Surely he could handle this. But even the patient can miscalculate. The breaking point came during combat theory seminar. The room simulated a neutral environment, no weapons, no shields, just bodies and egos. The Varix twins blocked Elias's exit. "Word is," one hissed, "your people lost their homeworld twice before learning diplomacy." Elias lifted his head slowly. Calm. Flat. "That's incorrect," he said. "We learned diplomacy early. We just learned war better." The Threxian laughed, lunging at him. What happened next took 4 seconds, no more, no less. Elias moved like the laws of physics had betrayed the others. He twisted, broke the Threxian's wrist with a rotation so clean it looked rehearsed. He stepped inside the Varix twins' reach and struck a nerve cluster under the chitin. One went down screaming. The other lunged, and Elias headbutted it hard enough to crack its exoskeleton. The room erupted in chaos. Someone triggered the emergency dampeners. Screams bounced off the walls. And then a knife slid between Elias's ribs. Silence followed. Real silence. Elias looked down. Blood, dark and human, spread across his uniform. He exhaled slowly, tiredly. Collapsed. Professor Rahl arrived 37 seconds later. Too late. Elias Ward did not die in the lecture hall. That was the first mistake. The second was assuming humanity would sit quietly. Elias survived because humans are stubborn that way. Because Earth medicine prepared him for things that would kill other species twice over. Because the blade had missed his heart by less than a finger's width. But news travels fast. Faster than translations, faster than diplomacy. It reached Earth before Elias even opened his eyes. And Earth remembered. For decades, humanity had played the good junior partner in the Galactic Council, peacekeeping fleets, trade concessions, carefully worded treaties. Smiling diplomats swallowing insults about primitive instincts and barbaric history. They had done this because humanity was tired of war. But humanity never forgot. 48 hours after the incident, the Galactic Council received a message. From United Terran Defense Authority. Subject, custody transfer request. We request immediate extradition of the individuals responsible for the attempted murder of Cadet Elias Ward. This is a procedural formality. Please advise. The council debated. Hours turned into a day. Discussions of jurisdiction, campus autonomy, and cultural misunderstandings dragged on. Reparations were offered, memorial plaques suggested, scholarships proposed. But the council did not extradite. Professor Rahl observed the human ambassador's hologram with growing unease. The smile on Ambassador Cole's face was polite, careful, almost sweet. Until it vanished. You misunderstand, Cole said quietly. This was not a negotiation. 3 days later, a Terran fleet blinked into real space at the edge of the system. Not a battle fleet. Not yet. A training fleet. Old hulls, scarred armor, names like Bitter Lesson, Last Argument, and Remember Why etched along their sides. Ships that had survived the kind of wars the Council had only read about in archives. The Council's security forces mobilized. Local militias postured. No one fired. They didn't need to. The humans deployed instructors. Veterans with gray hair, old scars, and eyes that had buried friends on worlds no longer listed on star maps. They moved through the campus like shadows, silent, precise, lethal. The Varix twins were found hiding in a maintenance shaft. They resisted. Barely. Humans had long ago learned that leaving enemies alive could be more educational than death. The Threxian athlete surrendered immediately. The one who had stabbed Elias ran. That was mistake number 3. 3 corridors before gravity reversed beneath him, crushing his armored suit. A calm human voice came from behind. You should have checked what kind of Deathworld trained him. The instructor knelt, restraining him, and activated a recording device. Earth, she said. Package secured. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. The trials were public. That was intentional. The Galactic Council insisted on oversight. Humans agreed, with quiet enthusiasm. They requested a neutral venue and full broadcast rights. Millions of eyes from countless species were tuned in. The attackers tried to justify themselves. Cultural norms. Misunderstandings. Provocation. One even claimed Elias enjoyed the attention. That's when Elias spoke. He rose slowly, pale and bruised, still healing from the blade. But his posture was unbroken, his gaze steady. I didn't fight back, he said, voice calm and precise. Because my instructors told me something important. He glanced at the human delegation behind him, old soldiers, retired teachers, instructors who had survived wars no one alive today remembered. Monsters in uniform, trained and patient. They said humanity survives not because we're violent, Elias continued, but because we choose when to be. The council chamber went still. Even the translators struggled to convey the weight of his words. The verdicts were issued swiftly. The attackers were guilty. Sentences imposed. Restitution demanded. Shame recorded. And then the humans made their move. Ambassador Cole stepped forward. Earth recognizes this verdict, she said smoothly. However, under the Interstellar Exchange Accords, harm to a cadet constitutes harm to the sponsoring nation. Murmurs spread across the chamber. We are invoking Article 17, Cole continued. Right of demonstrative response. The lights dimmed. A holographic feed filled the chamber. It wasn't the tourist version of Earth, not the blue jewel the galaxy had grown used to. This was Earth as it really was. Cities flattened. Trenches dug across continents. Soldiers laughing under artillery fire. Civilians rebuilding ruins with bare hands. Starved children learning to hunt and defend themselves. The unbroken, relentless resilience of a species the galaxy thought they understood. We sent Elias here unarmed, Cole said, voice low and deliberate. Because we trusted you. The footage shifted. Human fleets fought monsters and raiders that didn't exist in any database. Lines held by ships too old, weapons too worn, crews too few. They won. Ugly. Bloody. Effective. Silence crushed the chamber. The kind of silence that tastes like fear. Next time, Cole said, her tone now cutting, a sharpened edge hiding beneath civility. We won't. The council had seen their first lesson. Not just in strength, but in patience. In strategy. In the deadly efficiency of a species the galaxy had labeled weak. And that lesson had only just begun. Months later, Elias returned to the campus. It was a different place. New security protocols, armored corridors, surveillance drones humming faintly along the ceilings. New policies. New respect. No one called him the silent Deathworlder anymore. They called him Sir. Professor Rahl requested a private meeting. The old reptilian bowed deeply, a gesture so profound it had never been recorded in council archives. I misjudged your species, Rahl admitted. I misjudged your students. Elias allowed a faint smile. You misjudged patience. They shared a quiet moment. No words needed beyond that. Above the system, the Terran fleet withdrew. Slowly. Deliberately. Every ship leaving on display for the galaxy to see. No worlds burned. No empires destroyed. Yet the message was unmistakable. Humans are not peaceful because they are weak. They are peaceful because they are patient. And patience, once exhausted, is the deadliest weapon of all. Elias settled back into Lecture Hall K91. He opened his slate. The handwriting was precise. Calculated. Waiting. And for the first time since arriving among the stars, no one laughed. The galaxy had learned finally what Earth had always known: humans survive. Humans endure. And when cornered, humans do not just fight, they remember, they plan, and they strike. Somewhere in the crowd, the Varix twins trembled. Somewhere, the Threxian athlete reconsidered every decision he had ever made. Somewhere in the council, leaders realized that every insult, every dismissal, every attempt to humiliate a human cadet had been a gamble with an enemy they had underestimated at their own peril. Elias smiled faintly. Calm. Controlled. Human. And the stars were quieter for a moment, because everyone understood, underestimating humans is a mistake you only make once.